Hello lecturer and hello everyone. Today we are going to present about topic poverty and economic inequality that focus on an issues life in developing country. And as you can see, we have four members, which is me, Bitzat, Saiha, Thida, and Bitzat. For our contents, we have divided in three main parts. The first one is social problem and how it impact, that is explained by me. And the second one, structural functionalist perspective, that is explained by Seha. And the last part is solution on the case study, that is explained by Bisat and Thida. So first, let's move to the first part, is talking about the social problem of poverty. So what is poverty? Poverty is about not having enough money to meet basic needs including food, clothing, and shelter. Or we can say poverty is a state or condition in which a person or community lack the financial resources and intention for the maximum standard of living. However, poverty is much more than just not having enough money. It means that the income level from the employment is so low that basic human needs can be matched in the market. For society, poverty is a very dangerous factor that can destabilize an entire country. That is a major cause of social tension and threaten to the divide of nation because of income inequality. And here is another social problem that talking about economic inequality. Economic inequality is the unequal distribution of income and the opportunity between different groups in society. It is a concern in almost all the countries around the world, and often people are trapped in the poverty with little chance to climb up the social ladder. Society with the pronounced economic inequality suffer from lower long-term GDP growth rate, higher crime rate, poorer public health, increased political inequality, and lower average education level. Inequality is bad for society as it goes along with the weaker social bond between people, which in turn make health and social problems more likely. After talking about the social problem of poverty and economic inequality, but how does it impact to the global scale? So let's get to it. People living in the poverty are more likely to live in the disadvantaged neighborhoods and in the overcrowded or unsuitable housing. Nearly all possible consequences of poverty have an impact on children's life, such as poor infrastructure, lack of basic services, and income reflect on their lack of educational, violence at home and outside, face all kinds of disease throughout the environment. And children experience of poverty can also lead to the bullying or feeling and exclusion, as they may have fewer friends and less access to their social activity of their past. And that's all for my point. Let's give the floor to Seha.
Thank you, Bishat. So now let me continue our presentation to the next point. From a structural functionalist point of view, poverty is the result of institutional collapse. Economic institutions that fail to provide adequate employment and payment, educational institutions that fail to provide adequate education in low-income school districts, family institutions without two parents, and government institutions that do not provide adequate social support. This institutional disruption creates a culture of poverty in which people living in abject poverty, it also known as underclass, develop. They also develop their own habit, value, belief, and ideology that contribute to their own plight. The growing of culture of poverty among single people is characterized by single-parent families, an emphasis on present satisfaction rather than in the future, and a lack of limited participation in a large public institution. Those who grow up in the poverty learn to view early sexual activity, to be a single parent, to lose a job, to rely on social service to make money, and to use drug as common and normal part of life. For lower class members, develop feeling of prejudice, helplessness, dependence, powerlessness, inferiority, and personal inadequacy. The culture of poverty is passed from one generation to the next, Further, the cycle of poverty. The structuralist perspective reminds us that culture of poverty continue due to the problem and barriers that are largely caused by failure of educational institution and economic institution to provide employment. From a structural functionalist point of view, economic inequality in society can be beneficial to society, as the income inequality program encourages people to obtain higher level of training and education, and to take on more important and challenging jobs by providing higher wage. However, the debate is being criticized on the ground that many key jobs, such as childcare workers and assistant nurses, are low paying, while people with less important roles like singers or professional athletes earn huge sums of money. They also claim that the CEO pays the highest due to the risk and responsibility. If the payment is based on the risk and responsibility, it makes no sense at all, because CEO pay rate is 56 times higher than the 20 years experience soldier.
A case study of an Asian country that we would like to raise, which is related to our topic, is Cambodia. Cambodia is a country that is located in the southern portion of the Indochina Peninsula in mainland Southeast Asia. COVID-19 has hit Cambodia quite hard, forcing the country to go under lockdown, especially in 2021, where people were not allowed to go anywhere. And that is the time when unemployment rate had climbed up whopping of in the number of 3% compared to only 0.31% unemployment rate in 2020.
Solution that we believe will solve those problems that we mentioned is improving the education system. For education is the source that provide power in society. Students will have more scholarship opportunities so that people living in poverty can climb up the wall and getting a higher education for a brighter future. In Cambodia, students can study for free in public school from from elementary to high school, but not in university. So, if they want to continue their studies, they will need to earn a scholarship. Moreover, some of the scholarship also offers to study in other countries as well. With this much opportunities, students will have a bright future as well for the country itself. With this competition for the scholarship, there will be a lot of potential human resources for the country itself, which will reduce the amount of unemployment rate. For example, a boy called Salik, who can speak 12 languages, he used to live under poverty by selling souvenirs in Siem Reap province. Afterward, he got recognized, he got scholarship, and is studying overseas in Beijing with a really bright future ahead of him. As for the problem with unemployment during the COVID pandemic, almost 99% of Cambodia's population are already vaccinated. Furthermore, the government already announced the reopening the country again for tourism and many more, which means there will be many jobs opening for many people. Those who have lost their job because of the virus now can take these new opportunities. In addition, there will be more investors to come to Cambodia to do business, so it will provide many locals and other people who are being employed. Reach the end of our presentation, so thank you for listening to our speech.